Another goal of mine is to really contribute something to the guitar world.
Legacy.
And yeah, and it's not that I want people to be like, oh my God, she was such an amazing player and whatever shit. No, all I care about is the creation of new music and the education of the guitar. Like just so that it is placed on the pedestal it deserves.
Podcast and stuff we just started.
Oh, okay.
Before I even ask who am I here with today, so you talking about this beer stuff, yo? So like, I was in Austin for South by, and my homie, I convinced him to come to South by, right? And he hitches a ride with another homie. I can sometimes be good at this networking and linking people up stuff. You know what I mean? So you fast forward, so we had this party. It's kind of a really cool party, man. Like it was free food and free drinks, like unlimited. Like what more do you need, right? Like, what more do you? And there's music, so like people we know are playing too. It's South by, it's Austin, it's live, it's crazy. So this guy he indulges in the free drinks, and he too was on an empty stomach. I didn't know he was on an empty stomach. But yo, man, he threw up in my car and then kind of told me, dude. And like, it wasn't until we walk in, like, because he's just fucked up beyond belief. Even though he only had 2 drinks, he said that never happens, like, with just 2 drinks. But, like, whatever he drank, combined with empty stomach. And he was probably just tired, too. Like, he probably didn't sleep. Like, he was just fucked up. But, yo, my car smelled like ass. We were going to a place that, like, you know, certain people of power are going to get us in. But then I look at his shirt, and he's just, like, vomiting. I'm like, I don't think he could come with us.
He's out of the party.
Then he loses his phone that night too.
Oh no.
And
what a nightmare.
We probably didn't talk to each other for a week because I was fucking pissed. He was too drunk, but he didn't get pissed till later. I'm like, the fuck you got pissed for? Like my car got the hit and you were kind of fucking up my night. Other people that were there that I was trying to link him with, probably didn't like him anymore after that.
Yeah.
It was like it's a pretty bad experience, but we cool now though. So like. He rides bikes now. Like he was just at this big hop, so he's not too far from me. I'll probably hit him up after this. So shout out to I won't even say his name, but he knows his name. Sometimes he hears this.
He knows his name. He knows who he is.
But yeah. Who am I here with today?
So I'm Ashley Lucero.
Boom.
I am a professional
classical
guitarist.
PROFESSION.
Let's stop it at the PRO. Pro.
Shit.
No, I would say I'm more of an emerging professional. I just graduated with my master's degree in music performance from the University of Texas at San Antonio.
Oh man, I rarely ever say this, but shout out to UTSA.
Yeah.
I rarely ever say that. I'm not really enjoying it. It's recorded. Cause
it took, I've been there for a while. I got my bachelor's there.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it was a long while for my bachelor's. I mean, it took 5 years, and that's sort of a thing. Than me. Yeah, that's a thing, especially in the music department. It's just because you can't rush, those things, especially with instrumental performance. It's just something that you're gonna have to develop at your own rate. There's no such thing as cramming in music performance. So. But anyway, so I've been there a while, and to finally,
try turning this off.
Yeah.
And if it gets stupid, I'll turn it back on.
I don't think it will. I think it'll be fine. Yeah. Well, anyway, so I just got my degree, but I do performance. I also teach, mainly privately, but I like to teach group lessons to young students, and then I also compose my own music. Mainly for the guitar. That's my main interest. I mean, I've composed for other mediums, but like my one true dream is to be able to just play my own music.
Yeah.
A full concert.
I feel like sometimes I'm like jealous of you guys though, because like you guys get to, not that, because I know grass is greener on the other side, so I ain't saying it's the greatest living, but like you guys at least make a living off of using your music skills. And like, I don't know if you knew Mark Martinez. He was a comp major for like a day. It's longer than a day, but it might as well be a day.
I don't think so, no.
But
I must have been absent that day.
He was percussion, but he ended up stopping. But like, he ended up still like, becoming a merc and like, so playing in everybody's band and then teaching. And that was pretty much his primary until he moved to New York. And he wants more, so he's becoming a programmer and shit. But like, there's a lot that I know that just get to do that. And I'm like, us electronic fools, like, we don't really get to do that. Most of us are mega. And this is why, like, sometimes I think me and people like you, we come to class. Not that we fight, but I think sometimes just don't understand each other. But a lot of us electronic crew, particularly that beat scene, heavy DIY, like everything. So it's like, how are we gonna find people to teach? I mean, just YouTube it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
like,
yeah. A lot of that stuff is very like I
and you can teach it, but it's just
right. And it's nice to have someone who can expedite that process, because even if you're watching the YouTube videos, like, it's still really, it's confusing until you've done it a few times. Like I used to kind of play around with Ableton, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing, but like I had a lot of fun with it.
Were you making crazy shit, or were you trying to use it for your shit?
No, I was making like I was doing a lot of synthesis, so like just creating my own sounds. But I didn't know what I was doing.
No one does.
But I had.
No one does.
It was
that's
a lot
the
of
whole
fun.
trick.
Yeah, that's why I did it, because you don't have to know what you're doing. You can just really experiment, and I really like that. So, I tried to kind of what was it? There was this plugin called damn, I forgot. Well, anyway, it was for synthesis, and like, I tried to watch some YouTube videos, and it helped somewhat, but honestly, it was like I maybe would only get like 60% of what the video is trying to tell me, and I would kind of fill in the gaps on my own, and so like, that's the really cool part about that world and all of that kind of music. But like with the classical guitar, it's like, yeah, you can learn on your own, but if you really want to make a career out of it, yeah, you have to have someone who actually like knows what they're doing and how to help you, and it's like a whole nother world.
That whole world is beyond guitar. Just if we want to call that genre, they need a better name than classic. That's like.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's a whole debate of its own. The guitar that I play has been called a few things. It can be called the Spanish guitar because that's where it originated.
Yeah.
But we don't play Spanish music on it as much anymore. It's racist. It's still a thing, but it's still a thing. But like, it's like you said, it encompasses way more than that. But and then people call it the classical guitar. Well, because the guitar that we play now came out of the classical era. During that time, the 6-string nylon classical guitar came to be in the classical era. Yeah. But we're not just playing classical music on it. And then you ask the question, what is classical music? So it's just this whole loop. Just some people call it the classic guitar. Well, classic of what? Well, anyway, so I play the goddamn guitar.
The goddamn guitar. I want to see that on your first album. In the credits.
Ashley plays the goddamn guitar. Sorry,
shit.
Mom.
There's you were mentioning, like, definitely helps a lot have someone show you the proper technique, and just that whole world. Even like YouTube comments are always right, stereotype, hateful, right? But that whole world, even the YouTube of that world, when I check clips, like, this shit's ass, technique is off. Why they played it too hard? They played it too slow. Yeah, I'm like, yo. Yeah. Yo, like, that don't happen in the normal music. Yo, it's like, I like that shit. I don't like that shit. And there's other, stupid critics, but it's like very anal is what I'm trying to say.
The internet is
but there's still criticism. But example. I'm just saying though. No, okay. But I've heard that before the internet.
Okay, let's go to that then, because it is true that the music world, the academic music world, is very competitive.
It's a horrible name too, but it's appropriate. But it's a horrible name.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's weird because if there's the academic music world, which it's not like, it can be a bubble, but we don't want it to be a bubble. For example, going to competitions, right? Some people, they don't want to go to competitions because they're afraid of how they're going to be treated, and they're afraid of the people they're going to be competing against and how they're going to act towards them and how it's going to make them feel, emotionally, because it's a very difficult thing to do. It's I've heard about in other instrument areas of competitions being a little cutthroat and not so friendly, and sort of what you would see in the movies, right? So just think of, I don't know, what is that new movie? The first movie that comes to mind
is that movie where like this white kid battles Steve Vai. Oh, it's like representing like the devil or something. What is that called again? Is it Crossroads or something?
Yeah, Crossroads. Yeah. So, but the really cool thing about the guitar, and a lot, I've been to the biggest guitar convention festival and like one of the most prominent competitions in the world for the classical guitar, which is the Guitar Foundation of America. And it's the biggest convention in the United States for the guitar. I don't know compared to internationally, but it's really big, very important. I mean, people who win first prize are basically like God for a year and get like who knows how many concerts and a contract to play all those concerts. And get to record a CD. And so and the players are just absolutely amazing. I went and everybody was so nice. Like everybody. And then you meet these winners too. So they'll come to San Antonio all the time. The winners, every year you have a new winner. And they'll always come to San Antonio because we have Jake Ramirez with Guitar San Antonio setting this stuff up. They're always like really humble, really, really nice people, really interesting, smart people. And I think that's one of the things that drew me into the guitar is the people, because, and I don't want to be talking shit or anything, but when I played the violin and I played in orchestra, I mean, I had played since 4th grade and I played all the way up until I started playing guitar, which when I was 17, but I never practiced because I was just very discouraged and I just didn't fit with the people. They're a lot different. And I loved orchestra. I love playing in orchestra, but it's just the people, I didn't really click with them. It was when I, met a bunch of guitarists and I was like, hey man, hey Rama, stop.
I know, that's like all it doesn't even matter for the recording because it won't be a big deal, but I just me right now. It's like you're trying to talk and all I hear is like, it's the illest licks.
Leg liquor. But anyway, so I met these people. This was in high school. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, of course high schoolers are a bunch of goofy shits, but like it was just so fun, like hanging out with these kids and improvising and just like making stuff up together, writing music together and just having a really great time. And their guitarist sense of humor, man, I just connect with it so much more, And
find your people, your tribe.
Yeah, seriously. And like very, like they all do such a great job of what they do, and they're all very hardworking and interesting people, but they also just are really good at chilling, just like really laid back and fun and nice and funny and with a little sarcasm streak. I've met so many cool people through the guitar. My life is immensely better having started playing guitar. Especially studying guitar. And it's weird because going to school for guitar, you automatically like have access to like these groups of people that somehow seem a little bit less accessible when you're not in school. It's kind of weird. Totally changed my life. I miss orchestra though.
So I feel like you touched on it, but like, how does the guitar happen again for you?
So I actually, it's kind of a funny story. When I was in maybe I was still in middle school. My brother started playing electric guitar and he got really good and he's still good. He plays a lot of instruments. He's one of those people that he'll play anything. And, but he told me he was playing electric guitar and we both loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And so he'd playing, right? And I was like, that's so cool. And he's like, you should play guitar. And I was like, no, there's too many strings. I don't know. They're so close together. And just stop it. Stop telling me no. And whenever I act that way about something where I'm like, no way. never going to do that. I usually end up doing it and loving it, which is funny. That happened to me with violin, happened to me with guitar, happened to me with teaching too, which I can talk about in a minute. Anyway, so I didn't play for a couple years, but then when I moved from Ohio to El Paso, Texas, I wasn't going to school full time because I hate school. I love learning, but I hate school.
I get it. I get it.
And so my mom put me into the high school like half a day, and then I would do like online work the other half. And
that's
apparently,
a thing?
Apparently that was acceptable. I don't know. Like it was. I mean, it's not like I did the work anyway. It was not much better. But so I got to Texas. I didn't want to be here. You know, I left my friends all back in Ohio and had like. It's just a bad time. It was the middle of my sophomore year of high school. I was 16 and I was just about to turn 17. You know, it was just like, I have all my friends. What am I doing here? Fuck this. And so, you know, when I'm registering for classes with the little counselor lady at the school, she's like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I was like, well, obviously I want to be in orchestra, right? Because otherwise I'm going to kill someone because I don't want to be here. And so you can at least give me that. She's like, nope, you can't join orchestra because you're not a full-time student, and you know, to compete in UIL, you have to be a full-time student. So they're not going to take a student in the orchestra that can't perform in the competitions because then they lose a whole player. And I was like, okay. So after that, she could have said anything else. She could have said, why don't you join choir? I was in choir in middle school and I loved it. In fact, I was in women's chorus for 5 semesters at UTSA with Dr.
Yeah, I saw
Mabry.
you there a few times when I was doing it.
I loved it. I love choir. So she could have said that. She could have said, okay, why don't you...
I have to interrupt. You used to tell me you sing, but then you never sang for me.
I don't like to sing alone in front of people. I have to be drunk, okay? No, I'm working on it. But she could have told me, how about an art class? Okay, you want to do something that has to do with the arts, do an art class. Why don't you join theater? No. Instead, she said, well, we have a guitar class. And I was just like, I've never played guitar. Like, I've touched a guitar, but I don't know. I've never played. And I was all huffy puffy, pissy pants because I didn't want to be there. Yeah. So I was like, fine, whatever. I just want to get out of here. So my mom got me... Or no, I that day I just was exploring the school and I went by the guitar classroom and it was all the lights were off. And I peeked in to see if they had guitars that we could borrow. And they had them on the wall, and all of a sudden this dude walks up behind me. He looks like maybe he's like 30 and with like a freaking earring, one earring, you know. And he's like, "Hey, can I help you?" And I'm like, I'm just checking to see if, you know, if I have to bring my own guitar. I don't know. No one's in there. And he's like, oh, well, I'm the guitar teacher. I'm like, oh, shit. Okay. And after that, turns out he was like 50 something. But yeah, I like to tell him that story to make him feel good about himself. But his name is Stefan Shuga. He still teaches at Franklin High School in El Paso, the guitar class. I go back and visit him once in a while. I actually saw him in November. But he played a huge part in me start taking up the guitar and taking it seriously. I mean, he just created an environment that, you know, there was a lot of energy and a lot of ideas, you know, ideas to work with, you know, improv, encouraging us to be creative and not just playing someone else's music. He's like, yeah, hell yeah, write your own music. I would rather you write your own music but of course he wanted us to learn, so we would play pieces. But he ended up just giving me a piece to play. Go home, play this over the weekend, bring it back. That's what he would do, give the students a piece of music to work on, and then you have to play it for him. So he gave me this really popular one, the Romanza, that everybody knows and has heard before, and like showed me how to play it, and then said, okay, go home. I had been able to read tabs, by the way, because I played the bass guitar like for maybe a year in 8th grade. It was a lot of fun. But so I knew how to read tabs, and I was like, okay, well, I'll read the tabs. And I went home and I practiced that piece all weekend. Like, I just got like super into it, and I was like, man, this feels good. This sounds good. Like, I really like this. And I went back to school that Monday, and he's like, all right, come up, play it for me. You know, high school guitar teacher attitude. And I sit down and I play it for him, and he's like, wow, you actually practiced. Like, he didn't expect me to actually practice, which I totally understand now, because high schoolers are really hard to get through to, especially when you're having them play like classical guitar, unless they like are weirdly really into it. And after that, he just realized, like, okay, this girl wants to work hard. I'm going to give her music, and he would just give me music all the time. And eventually I decided, because I was also in AP art, and I was like, should I go to school for art or music? I'm not sure. And it took me a little while to decide. And what ultimately made me decide to go for music was just the performing, the feeling when you're performing. It's something that you can't really get from anything else. And I think like something that's similar is maybe athletes, like when they're playing a game, it's sort of the same type of energy and mental focus. And but yeah, it was just, and as soon as I, you know, started getting really into guitar, I knew I wanted to write for the guitar. And so I knew I wanted to be able to understand it in a different way than just, you know, being really good at guitar. And yeah, I just knew I wanted to know more about music. And I didn't want to know more about art, because I was already, like, I had been doing art stuff my whole life. A lot of drawing, painting, even if I sucked. Like, I just did it my whole life. I forgot
that about you too. Yeah, that you do that stuff, yeah.
So I was happy with what I was doing with art, and I still am. And, you know, with music, it's been very difficult to keep my eye on like the truth of why I'm doing this and who I am, you know, without all the garbage of like music theory, pff, you don't know enough, and technique, pff, you're not good enough, and all of these people who made all this amazing music and now you know about it. And it's like so hard to keep your head up, but I want it so bad that I can do that. And I know that I'm not, you know, not ever going to be satisfied. So that's cool. And that's why I chose to go to school for music instead of art, because with art, I'm perfectly fine not knowing anything and just exploring on my own with that. For some reason, I'm fine. I'm happy with what I do. I realize that, you know, I don't have the same technique and understanding as people who have studied that all of those techniques. I mean, like color theory and like...
What's color theory? Just hearing the...
Like
notes
knowing...
in colors?
Like knowing... if I take this color and this color and creates this color, if I take these three. And
actual color. Okay,
yeah, like
my
real
bad.
color.
I was thinking of music.
No, like
versus
in
the
art, yeah. And then
like
still life and like and doing model, like, I don't know what to fucking call it. See, I don't even know. Like drawing figures. People, you know, you have your models and you draw them. I mean that like it improves your technique as an artist immensely to have real models and drawing that. I've never done that. And so, and also like, you know, stuff with perspective and lighting and just all this stuff that I don't know about. And I just constantly rely on my own instinct and also my ability to not give a fuck and still feel like I make it look good, you know. But like with music, when I would try to write for the guitar, especially since I wasn't doing that my whole life, it was a lot more difficult. And I was like, I need to find a way to better understand both the instrument and music. So it's been, I mean, the first piece I ever wrote was in 2010. So for the guitar, I wrote a couple of like cool little pieces with another guitarist that I was friends with in El Paso. We wrote like duos, like little duets, and they were cute. But solo guitar, writing for solo guitar, I mean, that's like a whole different world. And so the first thing that I ever wrote and finished was in 2010. And since then, it's just been like, oh my gosh, very long journey of figuring out how the fuck to write for like the guitar and just all these things to think about.
You write like too complicated sometimes stuff?
Yeah,
that actually don't make sense for the instrument, right?
Well, I think my main problem is I come up with a lot of ideas and I have difficulty going through with them and developing them. And I took like some composition lessons at UTSA, and they more helped me with like, just do it because you have to.
Yeah.
You know, you're being graded. But it didn't really help me understand the process. And so I did a lot of reading. I read this book by Schoenberg that just talks about the fundamentals of music composition. It's a really helpful book. And so I just read that and started writing music based on those principles. And that's actually how I wrote my most recent solo guitar piece. And
when was that?
So I used like all of that knowledge to write, it's a theme and variation, to write the theme. And that was in the summer of 2016. I just finished it this past March.
Damn, 2 years?
I'm a slow ass. Also, since I'm doing so many damn things, like sometimes I have to take breaks from writing because I'm so busy performing or so busy teaching. Like when I this past fall, I didn't write at all. All that I did was because I was directing the guitar ensemble at UTSA. I was teaching private lessons at UTSA. I was working on this book for string project for the guitar class to use. I was what the fuck
you writing
else
a
was
book,
I doing?
You mean, or like?
Yeah, I was so I'm creating a method that will be like a teacher will be able to use it for a full year of the beginner's class at the string project for guitar. Mainly, focused on UTSA, because at UTSA we use the Shearer method. And so in this one, it's kind of playing off of like the process that comes from that method. So I don't know how like popular it would. The only thing that I could really do to make people want to use it is show them, I've used it in the classroom before and it worked. So you can use it too, but not everyone follows the Shearer method. But yeah, so like sometimes I'm doing too much stuff at once, and I'll have to kind of put something to the side, like composition, or even sometimes performing. Sometimes I'm focusing so much on writing something because I need so much damn time that I'll have to take a break from playing, which sucks because I'm already so sort of behind because I started playing so late, but also and I had those injuries, so I have had a lot of time off. So when I have to take those breaks, I'm like, God, okay, like I just have to be okay with it, just got to be patient. I can't feel bad, that I'm having to take these breaks. And in the end, it ends up being better anyway, taking those breaks. It's really weird. There's this huge thing of like practice. You have to practice every day for the rest of your life. And while that's like super ideal, it's not possible. And I don't know if everyone does that.
It is. But I think it all depends, because I was talking with a friend about this yesterday, and it all just depends on the person, and it all depends on their level of drive and what they want, and then what they're willing to sacrifice,
and everything.
How much they want to sacrifice, because there's examples of in other fields, and I keep it music too, of I like to call them like demons, but there's like a certain period of their life where like they probably didn't have nothing else but that, though,
right,
So, and that's this. And now they're at such a level, they don't need to do that anymore,
Yeah. Definitely. Like there are, like you're saying, there's people that they like put so much time into, something like that, whatever it is, that everything else kind of goes to the wayside. And as an artist and a musician, I value so many different things that, like, I think that sometimes I go out too much, and I'm like, damn, maybe I should go out less.
See the snap every now and then.
Yeah. But then I'm thinking,
I'm like, man, let's go have a good time.
Which is true, yeah. Like, okay, yeah, I should go out a little bit less. It's true. But, like, going out and spending time with my friends and having, you know, I have really great friends. I mean, I've made so many amazing friends in San Antonio that going out with them, or even just going to their house and just spending time with them and having really great conversations with them all the time and sharing, you know, things with them is just as important as me sitting at home practicing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And see, that's that self-balance we got to find within ourselves, because a lot of those people would tell you like, well, if I want the thing, you know, and they would just let it all go, you know?
And I mean, it also depends on what your timeline is. You know, if someone feels like they need to get to a certain point by a certain time, it's like, hell yeah, do that, you know?
Yeah, for sports, you got to be younger. So like
yeah. And that too,
really
depending on what you're doing.
You know, we have our deathbed, you know?
Yeah. Of course, there's always that thought.
What do you mean?
Oh, you know, I've had friends that are just like, no, you have to be working all the time because you're getting older and you're gonna die soon. And it's like,
shit, soon?
Yeah, bro. Like, I know.
Like, soon? What I meant is that there's no cap. Like tennis players, you know, like if you're 23, obviously they keep playing till 30, but like 23 is like, you know, stereotype is gonna be downhill unless you're one of the beasts, you know, like Serena or something. And same thing with most of the popular sports. Around 40, it's like, all right, now you're an anomaly if you can still be able to be high tier. But for us, you know, we literally have.
It just gets so much better.
Yes and no. I mean,
for music, it like maybe.
But
not
I just meant we could do it. Is what I mean. Till we're dead. You know?
Maybe like. I mean, I've seen both sides. I've seen players that they're as they get older, they still are just even
we
better.
Get better here.
Yeah, and of course, there's always the mental aspect.
It depends. Like, what was your thing? If you're a singer, like I guess like the range right shrinks, and if you're maybe if you're a speed player, like I don't know if the speed stays there when you're older. And then
Depends.
You know, and then if you're in like the more contemporary music, like if you're a mover, you might not be moving as much, you know, like, but you can still do it, you know. Like I always remember BB King, and like he was just always sitting there till the very end, till like, you know, till he finally died. I used to always make fun of him. I was like, that guy's so good. He don't even play the guitar no more. He just wears that shit. Because like the last couple of years, he would do his solos, man. Or I would put him with I think Dave Gilmour in that like. If Dave Gilmour is, I think, Pink Floyd, if I want to get it right. I could be wrong. But anyway, they're both guitar players who I always joke, like, I'm going to be like those guys because they do, like, long notes, a lot of whole notes, you know, like, keep they slow. Yeah. And I'm like, I could do that. This shredding shit, I don't know, but I mean, but I could do that.
I don't think I'll ever be able to do that.
I just tell everybody, like, I play, I'm feeling. Yeah. You know, that's what
that's what it's about, though. Like, for me, that's so much more important. But, well, like, for example, I saw Paco de Lucia play.
Oh, he's a G. I love that dude.
Was.
Is he gone?
Yeah, he passed away.
So I don't follow him like that, but, man, I like...
2015,
Remember when YouTube was on the rise, man?
Yeah,
and I was able to find out about him. He's awesome.
Well, I got to see him play in 2011, I think.
Was that here or somewhere else?
It was in Austin.
Okay.
And... at that point, he didn't want to be playing anymore. He didn't want to be touring anymore. He had so many problems with his hands and was just worn out, you know.
Did he have to keep doing it or something? Like
that's how he felt. I think that he had to keep doing it for his family and
as a
that's
provider.
Just his life, you know. Yeah, and so you could tell when you saw him playing that, you know, he was just really worn out, and there's no way at that point that he was going to be able to play the way that he would play in the 70s, which was like
a beast,
amazing. Yeah. But at the same time, the collection of like experiences and knowledge and skill still was there in his playing, and it was still incredible. And like, you know, it's just because he can't play fast doesn't mean that he's not still this amazing entity when he plays, you know. And so I think that's just, and it's really cool because then I also think about like Beethoven's piano sonatas and like the really, really later ones and how they're very they have like the cerebral aspect of them that it shows this maturity, you know, this maturity that only comes with time. And that I think Some things,
like what made it more mature?
Just he was so innovative with form and with development of the music and the way that he just all the structure, the way that the music was structured, it was just so like it was so innovative, and it took all of that time to get there, and he had always been he had always been doing that stuff, but at that point near the end of the sonatas, it's like that's like where the mind goes at that point, when you've gotten past this peak of, you can play fast, or you can, you're young and fresh or whatever, but like that point where you just have this maturity of knowledge and skills, and it doesn't matter what the fuck you look like, it doesn't matter how you play, that's the goal. And to still be solving problems and still be coming up
like the book for teaching other people, right? That's the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think I'm super greedy. I'm like, I ain't trying to solve no problem, dude. I just want to do my shit. I don't even want to be, and so like this goes into like power of the mind. Like I don't even want to be famous or nothing. I'll take it because I think you need that to be successful, right? But it's like I really just want to do this shit. I can care less about anything else. And sometimes I'm like, all right, maybe I need to put these things on my goal list that I do want to reach a certain level of fan base or something, because like I need this shit for everything to make sense, like, in the whole financial aspect. But in reality, like I'm like, well, I kind of just like doing this shit. I do this shit a lot. I can do it whenever I want. I've optimized it to depending on which part of the art, some are probably the more we drift away from audio, the more my skill might go like this. But like I can still do it, But like I'm like maybe I need to add some of those parts to the will, because then once it's there, then I'll actually start to aim for it. What I mean? But definitely like problem solving. Sometimes I'm like I don't even be putting that up there. I think I sometimes inadvertently do it, but it's never like a goal. Like.
I feel like everything that I do is about problem solving. Everything.
So like the music too?
Yeah.
What problem are you solving with you as an artist?
Well, I mean, as a performer, when you're practicing, you're always problem solving. You're always finding ways to make something sound better, or ways to work on your mental focus, or ways to make yourself more comfortable. Because I mean, especially the guitar is just so uncomfortable sitting there with it like that, or solving ways to connect with your audience more, or as a composer, composition is all about problem solving. Like, have this idea, how am I gonna expand upon it? That's a problem, because my problem is it's too short. I need to make it longer without going on a tangent, without making it incoherent. It's a problem that needs to be solved. And then with teaching, of course, that is obvious why it's a huge problem solving process. It's especially with teaching, it's all about like being adaptive, and it's amazing. I mean, I had such a bad attitude about teaching when I first started going to school. I was like, no, I just want to play guitar. That's all. I mean, my parents were even like, maybe, because I went for performance, they're like, maybe you should go for education just in case, so that you can get a job. And I was
Parents
like,
are always
nope.
saying that. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, do you want me to hate going to school? Like, trust me, don't make me do this. And of course, I'm way too stubborn. And they know that, so they didn't make me do anything about it. But I would have a private student here and there while I was in undergrad, but I didn't really enjoy it. It wasn't until I graduated and I, of course, had to teach because I needed the money to support any other endeavors I had. And it wasn't until then where I had to like really invest into my time into my students to make sure they're doing well enough to where they stick with it, to where I started developing a teaching style and started, becoming a really creative problem solver. And just like overall really enjoying teaching and realizing, well, heck, I'm kind of good at this. All right, I'm going to keep doing it. I don't want it to be the main focus, but it's like in music, I believe that performing, composing, and teaching are all three things
Triad.
Are like so important for you as a musician. Like and I think improvisation goes in with the composition little category, but like all of those things are like so important for you as a musician. And I've seen myself improve as a player just through my teaching, because I mean, I don't like to do the stereotypical thing, but like the kids teach you in a way, because they don't just teach you, how to teach them. They teach you how to teach yourself, because you start to see these problems that they're having and realize that you have those problems too. Maybe just a little bit different, or, and also it teaches you to be more patient with them and yourself. I realized that for a long time with composing, I was being like way too hard on myself. I had way too high of expectations. And I was being very impatient, and it was just so frustrating. I didn't write music for like 8 months in 2015, and it was because I was just, and even after that, I wrote like the idea for my theme and variations, and I didn't work on it until that next summer, from December all the way to August. And it was because I was just like not teaching myself. I wasn't being fair to myself. And I realized that I needed to treat myself like a student. I needed to be a student of composition, even if it's just by myself. And once I had that realization, it helped me be more patient with myself, helped me realize my ideas a little better, and just overall being more curious, and looking for ways to become a better problem solver. And so that helped a lot. And I forgot why we were talking about this.
It don't matter. You just go on the flow. You just keep going. I don't remember.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I think the whole thing was problem solving in general.
Yeah, I think I'm stuck a little bit, because I think you mentioned problem solving, and I guess I was thinking of it from a worldview, like how am I helping other people solve their problems? God, yeah. But yeah, no, you're right. Everything's a problem. Like, obviously, I'm a lot more electronic based, and I'm like, yo, I'm just revamping my whole entire computer like this week, and like, in some ways that should have nothing to do with music. In other ways, it's like, well, it does. It's like that's the foundation, not just for music, for everything I do. Yeah. For everything, this whole thing will be dumped into a computer. All of it, video, audio, everything. So. Yeah,
it's just there's just so much work that goes into all of this, and it's insane. And I could literally sit here in my house and do nothing all day, and like I wouldn't, it would be like nothing really would happen, but I wouldn't die. I wouldn't like become less of a person, but I wouldn't get anywhere, Like, so it's so interesting that like it's this invisible wall of shit that I have to do that's constantly there that I can tap into at any time. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I always have something I can do, which is really super cool, but also a little bit
unclimbable
scary.
Mountain. It just never stops. There's always another mountain after the mountain.
Yeah. My God.
Yeah. It's like horrible. It's like, but great, but horrible,
I mean, when I was growing up as a kid, and if my mom watches this, I don't want to make you sad by talking about this, but I never did anything. Like, I didn't have a life as a kid.
Totally. When you start on defense, it's always a good thing.
Yeah. But see, part of the problem was when I was really young, my mom, she would try to get me involved in things. But I had a lot of anxiety just about anything. And so, for example, I was on the t-ball team, right? Mm. And we had our first game. I was really young. I think I was maybe 5 or 6. And t-ball was a huge thing in Ohio. And like, we were playing our first game. I hit the ball, right? Hell yeah, it goes kind of far, I guess. I don't remember. I was tiny. Probably looked far to me. Let's run to the base, right? So I run to the base the wrong way.
Yeah, man.
Supposed to run that away. And so I'm running to third base from home, and everyone's yelling at me, of course, you know, a little kid's doing the wrong thing in a game, and be like, hey, wait, no! Right? So everyone's like, no, go that way. And I'm just like, why the fuck is everyone yelling at me? And I just got like really like, oh my God, I did something wrong. Holy shit. And got like really scared and just walked off of the field. And my mom was so upset with me. And I think she even tried to get me into dance, and I just like tried it and then just quit. And she just was like, you quit everything. And it was just like, I was like, man, I kind of do. Like that's, and I was just like, what? I was like really disappointed. But like, after that, it was just kind of like, I just lived my life, like just not really doing anything ever. I think that growing up that way, I mean, it depressed me. Like when I was 11, I have a freaking diary entry that I could like pull out of the archives that like of me being like, I hate my life. I'm so bored. I'm like a dog that
Future
just
album
like,
artwork
yeah,
right
like
there.
all
That's
I do is sleep, eat, go to school, go home, eat again, go back to sleep. That's my life. I fucking hate it. And I remember as a kid, I would see like, you know, they would put the Olympics on and there would be these kids like doing these amazing things. And I'd be like, what am I doing? You know, like, what am I doing with my life? I want to do some really cool stuff like that. I want to make other people excited for me. I want to be excited for me. I want to be accomplishing things, but I didn't know what that really meant. And, you know, it was like, yeah, okay, I did stuff. I played violin. I was in orchestra, but I never practiced. I remember the worst point of all of that whole violin thing was I was in the youth orchestra of El Paso, and they had a concerto that the larger orchestra was playing, the older orchestra. So they had a soloist, and they're like, oh, he's going to do master classes. Sign up. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sign up for a master class. Like, this is going to be cool. And I didn't really practice very much. And I just didn't have a teacher at that time. I never had a good teacher that, like, really helped me and showed me how to practice. And the first fucking 4 measures I play for him, he cuts me off. And he's like, he was just like, I don't even know what to say, like, because it was so bad. Like, it was just so miserable. And he, see, in my experience now as a musician, I've like I said, I've met so many great people. One time someone stole my masterclass slot while I've been playing guitar. It was just a kid. He didn't know.
What does that mean?
Like, there were only 4 spaces, and I had signed up for one, and he just kind of unknowingly took it because he didn't know you had to sign up. And so he took my spot. And
he just walked in there.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay.
And we ran out of time, but the teachers stayed afterwards and, like, you know, gave me a short 15-minute master class before the next activity. It was a guitar conference. So, like, we had a schedule. And that was really nice, right? That's a really nice thing to do. Well, this guy, when I was playing violin and I played for him, as soon as the, like, lunch break bell rang, he was out of there. He was gone. He was like, I don't even want to help this kid. Like, and that was 2 things. That was me really not knowing what the hell I was doing and not doing a good job, and just like, I shouldn't have even been there. And then 2, him being an asshole, whoever the fuck you were. I don't even remember. But man, that guy had a boot up his ass. He deserved one. But yeah, so when I was younger, it was like I didn't really do anything with my life. And like I said, when I started playing guitar, everything changed. And I remember when I was in high school and I was playing guitar and I was like getting really into it, and I was like playing concerts and going to little contests and playing at little like festival things at my church where they would, like, a Christmas celebration. Okay, we're gonna have like a talent show, and just doing all these things with the guitar, and I was so happy. I was like, man, my life means something. I'm doing something with my life. I have things to do. I'm making really great friends, and I feel productive. It's like I'm driven. Like I want to go out and learn more music. I felt great. That was like, I remember that feeling of happiness. And now as like, as I continue to delve deeper into the guitar world and my career, and it's becoming a career, and it's becoming like this, it's becoming my life, it becomes increasingly difficult to find that happiness. But it's there, and when you do find it, it's like, it's incredible, but it's kind of just it comes with the territory of growing up and having a career. It's just like a lot of work, a lot of dealing with people, and a lot of dealing with money, and just all these things that can really bring you down and make you unhappy and make you forget who you are, and just kind of get really discouraged and be like, man, I'm not happy anymore. I should quit. I mean, hell, I went to a wedding last week, and it was amazing. It was my friends, Jason Cat. Congratulations. And I actually ran into a couple of my old guitar buddies from UTSA, because we were all like OGs from when I was there freshman year. And he's like, all right, so you're done. You finished. So you sick of guitar yet? And I'm like, okay, while that's mildly offensive, it's not untrue. A lot of people, they go to school, and when they get out of school, they're like, I just don't love it anymore. I don't feel like happy doing it, and I feel discouraged, and I mean, some people really do just quit playing.
I want you to keep going on this path, but I feel like that's something I would notice more from, again, like the classical or academic world than I do from the non-world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because it's just so much hard work and so many expectations.
Yeah.
And so competitive, and it's extremely like draining. It really is. And I think that there's some stuff that requires reform, especially the classical music venues and performance atmosphere. It's not satisfying. It's like,
like absolute silence.
Yeah, sitting there without moving, like, and it translates into other music too, where like at UTSA we would bring in guest artists who weren't just classical musicians. We'd have a flamenco guitarist, or we'd have.
But now you train the audience to just stand there.
Yeah,
to
now
just
the audience
quiet.
thinks they have to just.
Because when you're in this venue, the only time main people in this venue are like that, like that.
Yeah. And so I think that, actually, I have a funny story that goes along with that. I was at South by Southwest too this year, and there was a composers forum, and I was super excited about that.
I didn't hear nothing about this. I rarely hear anything about this world at South by. Yeah, that's cool. It's there though,
right? It was the only one, and I was like, damn, okay, I want to go to that.
This is official too, like official.
Yeah.
Event? Oh wow.
But like my group of friends wanted to go see Ghostland Observatory, and I really liked them too.
That I do hear about.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, let's go to that. Well, my boyfriend ended up taking his expired ID because he didn't want to lose his driver's license.
Yeah.
And so they wouldn't let him in. That sucked, but I didn't really care because I was having fun doing everything else anyway. But he was like really disappointed. So we just kind of were like, oh, fuck, okay, let's just go to something else. And I was like, well, you know what? Since we're missing the Ghostland Observatory, let's go to that composers forum. So we went. And at that point, man, we had been out all day. I was super tired. I was drunk. Like,
South by.
Whew, yeah. So we get there, and I forgot which building it was in. It was a small little like deli cafe bar. And they had this back room that had
first time this is done in like such an area.
Yeah. And so they had like these risers, for the audience, and then they had a stage. And when I got there, there was maybe like 10 people there in the audience. It was very small, a small room. And there was this band from England playing that were like kind of like a mix of the Specials and gosh, I don't remember. They're I don't even remember the name, but I get there and they're playing, and it was really cool music. And I look up at the audience and everyone's just sitting there. And these guys are fucking jamming out, like, fun music. And I go up and I sit down, like, looking at everyone.
And this is like normal music, right?
Yeah,
just,
like fun. Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing that, like...
Did you start?
I ended up getting up, running down the stairs to the front of the stage and dancing around like crazy. And I mean, being a little drunk helped, but like I just started dancing. And as soon as I did that, like 5 other people rushed down and started dancing with me. And
sometimes
like,
we need leaders,
yeah,
man.
And it ended up being like super duper fun. And there were still people sitting back there like, but at the end...
I'm one of those like chill people, but like at this point in my life, like I'm just lazy. Like I'm just like combined with like...
Yeah, I'm pretty lazy too.
Well, I mean like, and I still want you to keep going there, but like the music, the deeper I dived into it, like, so it's funny you touching on the happiness, which I still feel like there's something there too that I want to grab at, that you just keep telling stories, which is good. But like, I think I tangented myself out of remembering what the fuck I was gonna say.
Oh man.
No. Like, so as deeper as I dived into it, it's almost like it's harder for me to find joy unless I'm involved in it now. Yeah. Like as an observer, I'm like, yo, if it ain't my homies that I'm supporting, or if I ain't working it, if I ain't doing sound for it, if I ain't filming it, I'm almost like it goes back to that mentality of always doing something. Like, man, I could just be working right now, you know? Yeah. It's almost harder for me to intake now because now I can create myself. It's not that it's better or worse, but it's just like, well, I can just do this for me now. Like, why do I need to get it from somewhere else now? And it gets harder and harder for me to accept things now.
Yeah, well, okay, so I totally get how you feel. I've felt that way too. And
I didn't even want to feel like this. It just kind of happened. You know,
I totally understand it. And you know what? The thing that I realized was when I start feeling that way, it's because I'm not exploring enough. I'm going to concerts that I know what it's gonna sound like.
Not challenging enough.
Yeah. I'm not like like I said, I'm not exploring enough. And it's funny, Leo Brouwer, the great Cuban composer, said in an interview, and I'm not gonna like quote him exactly, but he said, as an artist, you need to go out and experience other things. You need to go watch plays. You need to go to a museum. You need to read some books. You know, you need to do all of these things that are not guitar. Yeah. Not everything has to be about guitar. You're going to put yourself in a box, and maybe some people are happy with that, but like, you know, someone like me or maybe someone like you, not going to be happy with that. And I'm just going to get lazy and kind of just be like, oh God, if I'm not doing...
I fucking hate beats. I never listen to that shit. I'm the only person part of this crew that, like, I don't know anybody, like, in that scene. I only know of this because Tomas, like, an encyclopedia of that shit. But, like, if it wasn't for him, like, I wouldn't know anything about that scene. I just happened to make it. It seemed... It's relatively easy and a DIY, but it's like, man, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you just got... You got, like... Without being like too offensive, I'm like, yo, a lot of the difference between them and not even me, but like just my friends is like, yo, you guys got great mixing engineers, man. I'm like, to me, it's you can just replace that shit interchangeably, and it's like,
yeah. Well, you know, I feel the same way, and I think a lot of other guitarists feel the same way about guitar. You know, you go to a concert and you're just like, oh my God, I've heard this piece played by so many people just this year.
Just this year.
Yeah, like. I don't want to hear it anymore. And like, what is this guy really bringing to the table at this point? You know, and it makes me feel bad because, like, for example, when I went to GFA, the Guitar Foundation of America convention,
this whole world I've never heard of.
I wouldn't go to concerts because there's a bunch of concerts that you can go to. Yeah. And sometimes I would just be like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit outside. Because I don't want to listen to guitar anymore, and I don't want to hear these pieces that this person's playing. And maybe, you know, someone listening to me saying this that is from this world might be like, damn, what's your problem? But no, I don't think I'm alone here. And yeah, I mean, guitar is such a solitary instrument most of the time that it's like, okay, I fucking hear myself play the guitar all the time by myself. I hear the guitar. I hear it. Let me hear another instrument. And that's where chamber ensembles come in. You know, guitar and flute. Even 2 guitars will make me happier than 1 guitar. So yeah, it's just all about exploration. And Twyla Tharp said, I think it was her actually. Oh my gosh, I think she said it, but basically said, if you don't explore as an artist and you just keep becoming good at this one thing, then you're really not going anywhere. You're stagnating, you know, and you need to explore. It's healing.
I've heard that almost, because you're telling it from a point of exploration, but I've almost over the course of like just my life, only a few examples are coming to mind right now, but I almost feel like it's like 2 philosophies. Like there's one about embellishing the strengths and one about embellishing the weaknesses, you know? And like, you ever heard of Steve Vai? All right, yeah, I brought him up at Crossroads. What I'm talking about. So like him and a few other people, I feel like they're big believers in embellishing the strength, because he, as godlike as a lot of electric guitarists think of him, he's always like, dude, like the minute I kind of find myself, like I just kind of kept doing what I do and just riding that wave, you know. And maybe now he's doing other stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But like he just was always a big believer in that. But then it's a different field with Michael Jordan, and like if you study that path, it's like it was the antithesis in that. Like he always was working on the weaknesses, and they both worked to be successful.
Yeah.
But I've never even thought about them in terms of affecting our happiness on the thing like you're talking about. Like I was just like, which one's the better one? This one seems a lot easier, but it gets boring, you know? Like,
yeah.
This one's, you're always mad because you suck, you know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, it is about that balance. And I think it also depends on who you are. You know, some people are, I've met people that I ask them, have you ever written any music? And they're like, no. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why not? Do you want to? No, I'm not interested. What the fuck? No, you know, like I'm just like, ugh.
That was me being I was this weird middle guy, because I was like the sound guy and stuff at UTSA, and then like I became a student for a year in the music, not just a UTSA student, but music student for a year. So I almost got a taste of what you guys always talked about that I never could understand without being there. Barrage of classes that don't equal the right amount of credit. I think that's fucking silly, but whatever. That's fucking dumb. That is dumb.
I hate school.
Yeah.
I love learning, but I hate school.
Yeah, it's just set up really bad. Believe me, I have a whole thing just about college that I'm trying not even go to because you're doing so well. But I don't remember what I was complaining. Again, I tangented myself out. I don't remember what I was going to complain about. So
we're complaining about strengths or weaknesses, getting comfortable.
Sometimes I'm so present in the moment, I don't even remember what I was gonna say in like 2 seconds. Yeah, it happens.
I don't know. I've heard this twice in this month from 2 people, and I'd never heard it before. I think it's kind of a popular saying, but you're let's put it in the music context, or you know, you're only as good as your worst piece. You know, you're only as good as your like.
You're only as good as your worst piece. Well, then can you ever get better? I mean, unless you're like improving that piece. But if the piece is out, for most of us, you can like privately tweak it. But, you know, for the most part, it's kind of that version, and the world will always know that version, you know, like once it's
Well,
out.
I mean, that's why, I mean, with the worst piece thing, basically what it's saying is, you know, it doesn't sound good. Stop fooling yourself just because you can play all this other stuff really well.
Gotcha.
You know, so it's all about awareness. You know, and not being in denial.
So I remember now when I first got to UTSA, man. You're all young and like, especially me, I didn't have no music background, right? Like a lot of you guys, I didn't grow up. I guess you didn't grow up in Texas, as you enlighten me now, but I grew up in New York, and I grew up in a certain system where I shit you not, I only had 2 music classes my whole 18 years there. They were both just this room. Like, you have more, you have a piano. But like I'm dead ass. There was just pictures on the walls of instruments and like textbooks for one of them. I don't know if we had it in another one, but you would just listen to this guy tell me about like the story of music and shit. You know, like this instrument is that instrument. I don't know if he even brought him in, so long ago, but I'm like, definitely didn't touch him. And I know in high school, he brought in his instrument because he was a blues guitar player. So, like, he brought in his shit, but, like, it was just so, like, you're so disconnected. Because, one, we growing up in that hip-hop environment, and two, like, we ain't get to touch it. Like, it's not even there. It's just, like, pictures and stuff. When I didn't even start making music or nothing until my, like, early 20s. So, when I finally discovered that whole little, like, music department and stuff, I started bugging people and, like, hey, man, like, let's make stuff. I got the same thing you said. Like, most of them have never made stuff. Most of them don't want to make it. And it wasn't until I was able, like, maybe a few years where I was able to put it together and you realize, like, education is maybe the main thing there, combined with maybe, like, at second place, some of the all-star vocalists, Then after that, it's like a steep drop down, Like, like, it almost felt like a lot of them had grown up in this musical system, They found out they were good at it. And that kind of became their, like, 9 to 5, So, like, when it's time to clock out, they're like, look, I'm going home. And that's it, like they're going to go become normal people the same way, like, just do whatever normal people do. Like, they don't make stuff. Yeah. I will say this, for a lot of them, like, even some of the best, like, even like Raphael, they were always down to make stuff if you did everything, but they weren't, like, creative themselves, They just like, look, I'll sing whatever you want me to sing. But they weren't gonna, like, create it themselves. Like, I remember over here, and I don't want to say her name because, one, I don't remember it, but I'm sure I could describe her enough that somebody would remember it. I.e. you, I guess, because there's only two of us. But anyway, I remember overhearing a conversation, and somebody had asked her, and that somebody was an asshole. But I mean, so I don't blame her for saying no. But she was like, can you believe this dude? Like, he's over here talking about, like, he wants, like, to... something along the lines of, like, he wanted me to play piano and, like, let's make something. And it was just like, fuck do you do with music?
So like, offended.
But she seemed offended because, I mean, at that point, she's, like, primarily teaching, She's just teaching. So it was almost like this, like, a dream crust. Like, like, this is like a 9 to 5 for her. Like, this is just what they do. This ain't what they live for. This is what they do,
Yeah. There's always people like that in
everything. Yeah.
People who are outside of that, really, it's such a joy to meet those people that are like us, that are like, I'm in this, I'm doing it all the time. This is like, I want to create, and I want to just so many things, and the professors at UTSA, they see those people and they appreciate it, it might take a while for them to notice because there's so many students, but yeah, I mean, when I first got to UTSA too, like, I was all about, like, improvising and writing music, and I got to the guitar department, and it was, of course, it's a different environment, it's academic, and it's not that they didn't do that stuff, it's just that they didn't do it as often or as randomly as I would when I was with my guitar buddies in high school, So I got there and I was like, man, bunch of losers. Like, they don't want to improv with me. They don't want to jam out. Like, I was, like, annoyed. I was like, what's wrong with these people? And in fact, there was even this one time I stayed, like, really late one night, and I was just chilling at a table, and there were a bunch of other students, music students, like, hanging out in the upstairs lounge, and they were just improvising, which was really cool. And I'm really shy, so I was kind of, like, watching them, like, I wish I could go join them, but I'm really shy. But then they asked, I'm not going to say his name, but he was one of the best, I think played viola or violin, one of the best ones at the school at that point. I mean, he had played, like, with the San Antonio Symphony as a soloist, or
I feel like I might know what you're talking
super
about.
Crazy stuff, right? Yeah. Really, everyone was like, "Woo, him!" He was hanging out with them, and they're like, "Okay, ready? It's your turn." And he goes, No, what? And they're like, yeah, it's your turn to improvise. Do it. Come on, just make something up. And he's like, ah! He literally does this. Ah!
That's runs why you won't say his name.
Yeah, runs away with his instrument and runs down the stairs like that. And I'm just like,
damn.
Oh my God.
And that's his people too. That's not even like a real show. That's not
even they were just hanging out, and it was at night. There's no one else in the building. He was so terrified of creating.
Comfort zone, dude.
Yeah. But like he was such a good player. But in my opinion, I was like, no, he's actually not anymore in my eyes because he's not
Dream
creating.
Was crushed.
Yeah. I was just like, man, I don't know. Like I talk a lot of shit sometimes.
You don't even know. You probably still don't come close to me. This podcast full with so much hate.
Oh my god.
It's hate out of love though. It's just I just can't understand things sometimes. But like when I first got there was a cello player. I believe his name was Josh, maybe not, you know? He I think was considered, and this is just like me now like observing it like now like with having gone through the whole experience. I think not in a negative way, but he was probably almost considered like a freak. Because he just used to love playing his cello, and like he was one of the few like people on the instruments who would come to the lab and just like jam out and record himself like in garage. He didn't even know nothing too crazy, but like he would just loop, you know, same way we all do, and just get like layers upon layers of him just playing himself, you know.
That's cool.
And like I didn't realize how freaky that was like till like later on, like, oh, there's only you. There's only you who does this. No one else does this. But like, yeah, like he was so passionate about it that I think like all the cello players would be like, just he's the best. Because who knows if he really even was the best, but like he was the only one willing to like venture into that area, you know? So I'm the opposite, yo. Like I always tell people, I meet people and I tell them I do music. They're all like impressed and shit. And I'm like, hey, like what you play? Well, I'm like, I guess I play guitar, bass, and piano. But look, if I had to play any of that shit for you, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
I don't know any songs. I'm not even lying no more. I don't know any songs.
Yeah.
Like if you leave me alone, I can make you like for 30 minutes. I can make you something.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. And when I first was like learning guitar by ear, like I was learning like Street Fighter themes, like the video games, you know, and you know that's an important part of my life. You know, it's like mom, dad, and Street Fighter. Yeah. It's like they're all right next to it.
Look, I could play Mario on the guitar. Yeah. I figured it out. Like,
but then those were literally some of my first things, like that I was learning. Not like I can't wait to play this Beatles thing or whatever. Yeah. You know, like it was like fucking Ken Stades, you know, dun, 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 and again. I take great comfort later on. One of my favorite artists, Steven Wilson of Porcupine Tree. You ever heard of him? All right. But he was doing a solo set, just acoustic, in Tel Aviv, Israel, and someone asked him, play your favorite song. And it was something by the Beach Boys. And you know, it's probably like a 4-chord, like simple thing from the 60s. And he was like, it's that song, but I can't play it because I don't know it. And it's like, ever since I grew up, I always wanted to play my own songs, but never really learned anyone else's. And I was like, all right, okay, you can be like this. Yeah. Later on, fast forward, maybe he needed money, but now he can play covers. Yeah. But at that point in time, he didn't know anything. Nah, because now he's played Prince's thing and all kinds of shit, like just cover releases. Because he was, you know, internet probably came. He was like, yo, I got to make some money. But I mean, like.
Well, it definitely helps to, you know, be able to add a little bit of the familiar.
That's the logical stuff. I've always been anti-logical.
Oh,
when it comes to like being successful.
Like, same. I'm like, I don't want to post videos of me playing online. Like that seems so conceited. 1, and then 2, it seems like a lot of work. And 3,
see, look, we got this now, yo. Like, yo, this shit I'm doing, it's all bullshit. Part of me now, with the level I am at, like, I'm like, and I'm seeing certain people be successful. And again, like, I more probably want to be successful because it would be nice financially because I wouldn't have to do something I don't want to do, more so than like, I can't wait to be successful. But I look at some people and like one of my favorites, you ever heard of Twitch? Doesn't matter. Like it's a place where people stream video games, but now they kind of allow anything now. So people watching them play video games. But now like this, if I wanted to, I could stream it live on there, you know? Nobody probably watch, but I mean, you can. The option is there. Yeah. But one of my favorite shows on there, one day he was describing his setup, and he always brings guests, and almost everybody's going to be like kind of computer nerds in that field or game nerds, you know? And he's talking about his setup because a mistake happened. And he's like, yo, my setup's so scuffed, dude. Like, I have this computer, which is good quality, right? And then he's like, I have this mic, and I have my iPhone head earplugs, you know? And like, that was it. And the rest is all internal. And then one of the guests even takes it away. Man, you ain't build that computer, dude. You bought that shit from Best Buy. Don't even like front like that's some real shit. So I'm like, man, this guy is making $5K, like safe guesstimate from my end, from the numbers I can see, making around like $5K a month minimum, you know? just host some talk show in his room. Bought no fucking gear. He probably bought that blue mic, probably $100. You know what I mean? Everything else was shit he had already, because that's kind of a normal thing. A computer, iPhone, that probably didn't pay for the headphones because they came with his damn iPhone. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm like, I noticed, man, like, not that it's good or bad, but there's just a lot of people being successful with what they got. And I'm like, man, I think at this point I need to like slow it down, and like in terms of buying gear for making quality quote unquote content, and like, wait for that shit to pay for itself or something, versus like, and just figure it out my way.
Put it out there.
And our phones are so godlike right now. You could do the videos of yourself.
Right.
And I think many years ago, though, I was probably hounding you like, yo, you should be putting stuff out. I mean, one, you can take advantage of the obvious thing. You know, you are a girl. So, I mean, that'll
That's what
one
everyone
work.
Says.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, so like I study like that whole Twitch thing. I study that shit a lot. So like if you were to play on there, you would get a little following immediately because one, you're a girl. But I noticed this real quick. I don't know if this applies for everything because I don't study everything. I just study Twitch for some reason. But I'm like, girls on that platform, like, because they're going to have an immediate thing because of the girl thing. But now, because there's so many, like, all right, it's going to plateau. And now you'll get something. But in order to be one of the gods or something, now you got to be good. Like, so it's not no guaranteed thing just being a girl, but it's an advantage you can use. Yeah. But there was a New York, I want to say classical guitarist, and she was just posting like videos of her just practicing 1 minute, and she was like, at least in numbers, you know, was killing it more than any of my shit ever. So like just simple shit like that. You don't even gotta go out your way to make content. Just make whatever you're doing. Oh yeah. And it might help the brand something. At the same time, I've become so anti-social media right now. Yeah. Like, I don't want to do it no more. Like, I don't, like, because I got so far into it that I was making all this media like that. I'm like, all right, like, it was taking up so much of my time. I'm like, yo, I wanted to make music and stuff, but now I'm spending a certain amount of hours making, like, all these things to post that are, like, at least I've tried it now, so now I can say, like, all right, they're only getting a certain number of things, and this ain't helping grow shit. Like, I just want to go back to doing the thing, dude. Like, it's fucking stupid. The only thing I do is I do post Instagram pic a day, but that's to practice my bars, like my hip hop, like rapping bars, because once I stopped doing the group, I was like, man, making instrumentals suck. I kind of want to make songs, and so now I'm just like forcing it out of me, and by doing it daily, I get it better and better. Yep. But that's like the only part I enjoy. But I'm not I don't really care right now to go excessively out of my way to make content. But I mean, like, could be something like, cause to establish your brand, you know, like that's all. Oh yeah, I definitely have to get on that shit. I know everybody tells me I meet guitarists all the time that are like, you know, bigger name people that are touring, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Like you have the stuff to do it and to be able to do it and to be successful. Why don't you just do it? And I'm like, I hate the internet. Oh man, and you hate life, man. Michael B. Jordan just remade Fahrenheit 451. I haven't seen it yet, but it's on HBO. Oh my god. And there's this whole idea of, you know, like, you know, some people, this is more about like AI and us integrating with AI. Not that movie is, but you know, that the same split will happen with books and no books in that movie. Same thing will happen with tech and no tech. And that's cool, but you know, you get left behind in certain things. Yeah, I mean, simple shit like a website. Like I'm surprised you don't have one. I don't have one either. I did have one. But most of the people I meet from your world always have one at its basic level. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why I get so much shit talked to me because I don't have one. But I mean, I had one. I did have one. For a while, I actually just got rid of it this year. Why? Because I wanted to change the domain name and just a complete revamp. But so I'm gonna get one. It's just that like when I did have one, it didn't really do much for me, and it's not like I was telling all kinds of people about it. But oh, that's right, I need to be here. It honestly, like being in school, like really puts a lot of stuff at bay, and so I just have a lot of catching up to do, I feel like. And also I have a lot of, you know, mentors around the world that are doing what I want to do, that are composer performers, or that are like educators that also compose, but I've rarely met
very many that do all three, that teach, perform, and
you don't want to let go
write.
of any of them yet.
Yeah, and I like all of them, and I think the only person that kind of comes close to that is my teacher, Matthew Dunn. You know, he doesn't perform a lot. You know, he does performances a few times a year, but kind of a mixture of stuff. Like he played a little concert with a jazz vocalist the other month. I think it was, forgot, like some artist's music, all covers of that music, and so he's playing jazz guitar, you know. Yeah, so but he's like this incredible educator at UTSA, very influential, and is also like a really great composer. And he has albums out of his playing that, you know, are really good. And so that's kind of like, you know, that's my goal.
Hey, let them know.
All damn three.
Let them know I want him on the podcast. I'll take everybody.
That would be so funny.
I got Dr. Sebald, I got Klein, and I got you don't know him, but Ron Sweet. And those were the three teachers I wanted, because two of them ended up being like good friends for me, and the third one was my finance guy, but I'd still consider him one of the best teachers like ever, like for me, even though I didn't go finance route. Like, and that's probably is one of my best episodes, that conversation I had with him. But yeah, I'll take that. Part of me was thinking of reaching out to Cindy too.
That would be cool.
Yeah, Sydney, man, and then Naomi a little bit too. Because those were the people I feel like that messed with me when I was there.
Yeah,
I had rougher times with other staff. I probably want to reach out to Utah. I just thought of now too, if you remember him or not. He was bass, electric bass, and jazz. So that's why it's not even close to where you were.
Yeah, I don't remember.
And then he wasn't staffed there, you know, like, I mean, so he would come from Austin. Okay. So unless you were around at those times, yeah.
I don't know. I don't think so.
But the website, worst case scenario, yes, it is necessary. But I mean, like, I feel like you said, it wasn't doing nothing for you. I feel like at our level, it's almost more a glorified resume, which who knows? Maybe we need that at our level.
Well, now I do if I want to play anywhere outside of San Antonio.
You see, know?
Like now that I'm, because, you know, while I was in school, I wasn't going anywhere. I'm stuck here. But now I can go places, and so I need to be able to contact people and have materials to show them. And a website is, of course, the perfect thing to just be like, here, it's all here. It's all on this website. Just be able to branch out, you know, it's necessary. It really is. I
envision mine, and I just feel like I'm just gonna have like all these navigators that are just gonna relink to another site. Here's all my podcasts. Well, they're on. Here's the video of it. It's on YouTube. Because
no one wants to see pictures of you.
But I mean,
but like for like guitarists or any musician, it's like you need headshots, you know, so you have a whole fucking page of pretty photos and what you don't really look like.
Photo shoot day.
Yeah. And then of course videos, you have a page with videos, and then you have a page of your biography, you know, are you going to put a biography on your page? We have to. And then a page of like, contact me for, you know, whatever. And then you have a page of download my CV or my. And
all that is correct. Right. But I'm like, man, like, it just sounds like a glorified resume. Like, why do we even need that anymore? Like,
yeah.
Well, there's so many people making it without
other
it.
People need it.
Yeah.
Other people need it. We don't need it. They need it. You know, to make the decisions that they do based off of it. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like, can I just come over and play for you? Can we just hang out? Oh my gosh! Actually, speaking of which, I'm going to New York City for the first time.
Oh shit! First time, really?
Yeah, first time in July. I'm going to visit a friend who's going to Manhattan School of Music there right now. And there's a guitarist, a teacher up there who's also a composer who has dealt with a lot of hand issues. And
I love that it like snapped at the same time.
And so I contacted him like, hey, I want a lesson while I'm there. That would be really cool. I want to talk about
guitar lesson or the hand issues?
Both. Okay. You know, talk about it. He told me the price, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go sell my foot. Like, I just,
don't need it, right? You want the hands, you know? Right. Like screw the feet.
Can't. But anyway, it was extremely expensive, and I was like, man, I don't want to pay that much money to just hang out with someone, because that's what we're going to do. Like, maybe I'll play for you for like 20 minutes, and then after that, it's going to be talking. So I seriously contemplated just emailing him back and be like, so how about I just take you to lunch? Let me just buy your lunch. But that's like, that would be a pretty fucking ballsy thing to say.
I mean, at this one, you should do it because why not, right? But two, because you never know. But two, it probably would have been better in retrospect how you started that way.
No way.
Because then you can build up to that. Because then you can start here.
That would be so awkward.
But I don't know.
I don't know. I think it would be awkward to invite him, like a random person, to lunch that is really well known, and I'm just like I'm a Joe Schmo at this point. So
never know, man.
But yeah,
and as long as you make it known, like, hey man, I do guitar too. That way it doesn't seem like trying to hit on him. Actually,
and I guess like I don't know if he has a lot of people contacting him about that stuff.
He's that well known.
Maybe he's like, well, fuck, all right, I need to weed him out, or
at the
I don't know.
Same time, I don't know your world, so like I see it like, and I think it's okay, but maybe in that world it might not be. Maybe in that world, praying that much is the way. I don't know.
No, it's too much. It's too much.
Try something else,
It's too fucking much.
Tell him like, hey man, I got a podcast and I can get him on and like segue into you. You're like my camera lady that day.
That would be funny. Right. Ask him this question now.
You just feed me like
give you a whole list.
Bunch of things on my question. I was like, man, that is some intense.
All right, now play this piece for him. Because
I can't do that.
Since he's a composer, I wanted to show him my new piece, but
and get opinions.
Whatevs. Yeah.
Does that play a factor in your compositions, like other people's opinions that you respect?
Whenever I think about that, whenever I think about what other people think, especially people that I respect, I can't write.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Not in the writing part. I mean, after you show it. Let's say it's not out yet.
It doesn't matter what they think?
Yeah. Well, and then do you like adjust after that? Or do you just like, I don't care, I'm going to just keep going anyway?
Yeah, it really depends. Because it's very, very, like, it's all about the opinion, right? What is good music? Well, good music is what you like. Well, what do you like? I like what I like. I like good music. Like, it just doesn't, there's no real way to measure it except... there are some quantifiable things, like there's what is the structure like? Is it coherent? Is it derivative? Did you mean for it to be derivative? Is just like there are ways to be like, okay, this is a good piece. This is a not so great piece. So when I show it to people that I respect, I just want them mainly to feel something. I want them to experience something. I want them to enjoy it, of course, but if they don't, well, I can't help that. But so like for example, in my new piece, so it's a theme and variation, and the first variation that I wrote had a lot of the 6-string D, it's in drop D, a lot of that throughout it. And I showed it to Steve Goss. I think it was him who said it. I showed it to Steve Goss. He's a guitarist composer. And he was like, man, there's a lot of D string in there. Like, I want to think about that. And then, he talked about other things. And then I showed it again to Clarice Assad, who's a really awesome person, Brazilian composer. And she was like, man, there's a lot of D in there. And I was like, shit, okay, both of these people are saying this, people I highly respect. And now that they mention it, they're right. Like, it's too much. And then also, like, I think I heard someone play a piece that had a lot of, like, the 6-string in it. I was like, damn, that is obnoxious. Okay, so I changed it. At that point, and everything that they say, I consider it. I think about it. And I don't always... Even my teacher, Matthew Dunn, he'll help me with ideas that I have, and he'll listen to me play something. He'll be like, well, I think you should do this because of this. But I mean, you don't have to, but I really think you should. And sometimes I'm like, no. and he's like, okay, he's not going to force me. But yeah, I mean, I've had all kinds of experiences with showing people my music. And I think the most beneficial experience that I've had was people that really try to be like a good balance of, I really enjoyed this and I kind of see what you're trying to do, and like, I like that. And then but this thing you could fix in this way, you know, and if it's logical and I feel like, yes, it'll improve it. You know, I ponder it, and then sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. And like, and there's only been one time where I showed my music to someone and they were just like, this is okay. You know, just like, all right, so you need to listen to more Debussy. Just like,
just like that, like that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I literally had someone listen to one of my pieces and just not even say he liked it at all. Not even like give me any constructive like sort of like this. As a teacher, you know, you go through this process of like, all right, let me tell them what they did that I like, and then let's work off of that to things that they need to improve. And he didn't even like say he liked the music. He didn't say he didn't like it, but he certainly didn't act like either like he liked it. So, but he literally was just like, you know, I think that you need to listen to more modern music. And, you know, to try and explore different sounds. And I was like, man, I know what you're trying to say, but I wanted it to sound this way. Like, I'm not trying to create this out of this world sound that like is past tonality.
Yeah, it's basically saying, why don't you make something else?
Yeah, exactly. Like, why don't you just be a different person? And write differently is basically what he was saying. And I was like, this is what I want it to sound like. This is good the way that it is. And also I haven't been writing music for that long. Like, bro. But anyway, so that was one of the only times that I was just like really kind of discouraged after the lesson. And I didn't like his music that much anyway.
I used to, especially when we were all younger, we used to always show our stuff to everybody. And then now, I don't know if this happens with you. I think even though a lot of us haven't made any strides, you know, well, that's not true. I'm trying to be nice. Like, what I'm trying to say is, all right, this shit ain't paying the bills for not you guys, but like from us electronic people, it ain't paying the bills for most of us. I just people just take this shit too seriously, so now they're just like afraid to show people shit or blah blah.
Oh yeah.
Copyright and caring about all this shit. They're like, yo, no one knows who you exist, bro. But like I used to always do that, but then like you start to realize like, all right, no one gives a shit no more. Like that you do this. So now I only have like a handful of people. Some of them aren't even like music people. They just friends who I know like they mess with me as a person. Not even like they like my music, just like as a person.
Yeah.
And I know they'll hear it because one of my favorite, like, I always like know like when I can send you stuff or not. Like there is a musician, I mentioned him already in this show, but I won't say his name just because now I'm shitting on him. Music's his life, like, and now he's adjusting those things, but he was getting busy, and I know, you know, that's everybody's favorite thing, right? Everybody's busy, but I'm like, yo, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My man only got like 2 minutes to hear this shit, like, and like we in the same group and shit. I'm like, all right, like you know, your priorities is different now, you know, like,
yeah.
So like I just kind of show, and then like I only show it now when it's done, because kind of like what you said, like I'm like, you know, I'm in my stubborn mode. Whenever I'm in my mode when I want to like sound like whatever is what hot or whatever goal, then like I might aim for that. But right now I'm like, I'm gonna do this thing. Here it is, you know, like take it. If not, that's cool. There's another thing coming, you know?
Yeah, I started a little Instagram page where I just post. You can only post 1 minute videos. You can't post any longer than that.
Yes and no. You can divide it if you tied 10 videos into 1 minute.
That's true.
Yeah. Used to know, and I still might know until they keep adapting and I just fall off. But I knew a lot about this crap. So
so I'll post 1 minute videos, maybe even shorter, of anything. Like, because I've been so like afraid to post stuff on online because there's amazing videos of amazing players all over the place. Are we
really still there? Are you still really, after all you've done?
Yeah, I know, right?
Damn, yo.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I started a little Instagram page to force myself to post things.
I'm gonna have to add it before
it's
we
really
done
like
or leave.
It looks like I made the videos in a torture chamber, like it's all dark and
that's
shit.
your thing though. So, you just gotta own that, you know?
Yeah. So right now, as I'm starting it, I'm just putting up crappy videos. I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm just putting it. I'm like, that's the hardest part that I have to do right now as a person is just putting it out there. I don't care if it's good. I don't care. Like, if I try too hard, then I'll worry more about putting it out there, you know? Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just going to make short videos. If it's an idea, if it's me working on a practice segment, if it's me playing like through a whole section, trying to play it perfectly for performance, I'm gonna post it and I'm gonna let people hear it. I don't care like if they care. It's just that I just need to put it out there for them to hear it.
Yeah.
Whether they give a shit or not. And get over that qualm of like, it's not good enough. You know, it's like,
that's where the me posting rhymes like even though I've been posting so much shit on Instagram, like when I first started that last year, same feeling that you were talking about, like the little fear thing or whatever. But now it's just like flawless, like it's not even a concern, you know, whether people like it or not, you know.
I definitely like. I mean, I am gonna be doing more recording and more videos now that I'm out of school. That's like my fucking motto this year. Now that I'm done with school.
Hey man.
But like, because my YouTube page right now is just a bunch of videos of me before I went to school, and it's like
young Ash.
A little embarrassing sometimes because I was playing. They're cool videos, but like I'm not that person anymore. That person is still a part of me, but I'm not that person anymore.
Doctor Who.
And yeah. And so I'm like, should I just make a new page? Should I just keep posting more videos on that page? You know, because I literally had someone the other day come up to me and be like, man, that video you play. No, not, they just said, your Tango in Sky, which is this really popular guitar piece by Rolling Deans. Your Tango in Sky was amazing. And I was like, thank you. And then I was like, shit, what if they think that was me playing it now? Because I looked the same. It was me when I was 19. And it was like my audition video for UTSA for my undergrad.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's really old. And it is a cool video, but I don't play that piece anymore, and I probably wouldn't play it like that. Not saying that I don't like the way I played it. I like the way that I played it. But so I'm like, fuck, like that's not me, but it is. And this person really likes it, and damn it, I need to get new videos up. Like,
what are your thoughts on that? Are you gonna do a new one, or do you just keep going? Because I'm a big fan of all of it. Just put it all out and then keep going. You get to see the evolution.
I love seeing evolutions like that too.
I've done this many times on the podcast, so I won't even go down the like this whole route of like an artist called Russ and like distribution of content in the 2018 era. He was one of the first people because like he didn't get his first record deal till he had like 300 songs out, and he was already making a living off of his stuff independent, right? But his argument, because there was like he just had so much music, they're like oversaturation, and it's like what happened with him was when one song blew up, he wasn't a one-hit wonder. Like everybody just trickled down to everything else. And he basically gave the Netflix theory, and that was the first time I ever heard that for music. I've never heard it for anything. It's like, yo, somebody likes it off that single, but now they just hear me, you know, like, and now that's how it worked out. And I was like, oh shit, I never heard of that. But I know a lot of people, like I was saying before, everybody's all protective of this thing that doesn't even exist yet for them. That they only want the good shit. They only want the new shit. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but now you only got 12 songs out, you know?
Yeah.
Versus like
all the polished stuff. Yeah, I mean, it would be really nice to have a YouTube channel of me with this image of like professional, and then professional videos, headshot.
So you wouldn't continue it? You would just like start a brand new one?
It would be really, really nice to have a brand new one. But it goes against me as a person who is naturally very curious, and I want to provide. I always like when I play a concert, I talk about the pieces I'm going to play, and because I'm a really curious person, and I feel like there must be more people like me out there, and I want to give them this stuff to explore, you know? And so I don't want to take that away from them where I'm going to get rid of all my old videos and just have them think that I'm this thing. And it's like, no, I came from here. And also these are really cool to watch because then you can see the evolution and how I've changed, and just it's also kind of funny too, you know, like some of the videos are kind of goofy, like I fucking every other note buzzes, you know, or every other note is dead, or I'm like, there was this one embarrassing video. I took it down because like I did it when I think I was 18, and I was playing a little flamenco piece, and it was like really, really simple, and I put like a bow in my hair, and like I was wearing shorts and like had this shirt that was off my shoulder, and I was like, I would sit cross-legged so my little leg was out there, and so I looked super cute, right? Back then I was 18. I didn't understand that, like I just thought, okay, I just want to look, you know, kind of nice for the camera. I didn't truly know what that meant, so I actually looked kind of goofy, but like my teacher saw it, my old teacher, not Matthew Dunn, but my old teacher, Stefan Shuga, and he was like, oh, trying to get the views, you know, wearing shorts and wearing an office. And I was like, huh? Like, I was so naive. I didn't understand. I thought I just, like, wanted to look cute for the video, but I didn't think of, like, oh, I'm going to get more views because I'm showing leg or a shoulder or whatever. And so I took the video down because it was just too embarrassing that I was that naive. But it's like funny stuff like that, you know. There's a video of me and my friend I mentioned earlier from El Paso that we used to write music together, and there's a video of us. I think I had just turned 18. Maybe I was still 17. No, I had turned 18.
All your content creation is like that 2-year gap.
Yeah. So it was like, it's me and him playing a piece that we wrote together. And I'm like, my hair is like, I have like bangs, but it's short. So I look like a boy. I literally look like a little boy. I have like glasses on and like a hoodie and like these Adidas and jeans. So I look like a little boy. And he's like this short, like Mexican guy from Juarez. And we're just jamming out, like, but I had just started playing guitar at that point, so I'm like not as good of a player as he was, but and I have a very like stoic face when I play, so I've heard. I'm just like and so in that video I'm playing and I'm just like, you know, jamming out, but my face is like, so it's just really funny to see like that old video and be like, that was me. And now look at me. I'm like, I'm an adult, still kind of a kid, but like, you know, I'm a young professional. I have like experience. I'm better at talking to people. You know, I used to be like extremely shy, and I still do get that way when I'm around people that I don't know.
I think that only happens to me. Girls I like, and that's it.
Yeah.
I noticed.
I don't like anyone, so.
Well, there you go. I notice when it's something I want, I talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. Even if it is a hot girl, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Yo, you got something I want. But like, if it's just like them, like, that's still the only thing. Like, really? Like, we still getting nervous, you know? I'm all disappointed and shit. Like,
that's so funny. Yeah, I get very like reserved when I'm around people I don't know. Like, even if I'm with a friend and we're around, like, they invite me to hang out with their friends and I don't know anyone. At first, I'm just like, fuck.
It ain't nervous for me, but sometimes, like, I do so much of this shit, this talking shit, that it's like, I just might be on, like, zero, dude. And, like, I'm probably just not gonna talk unless someone starts that shit. Or if I become so self-aware that I notice it, I might just force it to happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm like, man, I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
I just don't want to talk. So now I feel like now it's almost a conscious decision for me to like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking sit here and not say shit.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude, that's so me. And especially when I was in school and I would be in class, I'd never talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I was very like.
That was me too in school though. I was shy as fuck.
Yeah, I just, first of all, I like I said, I don't like school, so I'm unhappy being there. But also, and it just never. I like my classmates. Like, hey guys, if you're watching this, I do like you, but I don't want to interact with anyone. Like, one, I'm afraid that I'll be all negative because I don't want to be there. But also, two, I'm like, if I just don't talk and I don't do anything, this will be over faster.
There you go.
So I can go through a whole semester not knowing my classmates' names. And, you know, the whole dreaded, okay, find a partner. Like, I literally have accepted that I'm going to be the last person chosen by someone that either feels bad for me or is just like overly friendly and or just like or like have the professor be like, oh shit, well, Ashley, I guess you're the third person in the group.
The 2-man group or like, the 2-person group.
Supposed to be pairs, but you didn't choose anyone. No one chose you. I'm just like, yep, just let it happen. Let it happen. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to choose anyone to be with. And yeah. Unless I have a friend in class, but that didn't really happen in graduate studies. I was very isolated. Like,
it's much smaller classes too.
Yeah, smaller classes and not as many grad students. And then I wasn't, you know, I was the teaching assistant, so I was in a faculty position teaching private lessons and the ensemble. So I could only be people's friends to a certain degree. And I actually had I had a lot of people kind of be a little bit angry that I was in those positions. People that
like jealous or just you creating that distance for.
I don't know. Maybe there was some jealousy. I'm not sure. I can't say, and I don't want to say. But I know there were some people that thought that I thought I was better than them. But it was like, no, this is my job. And it's not that I'm better than you, but I'm a second-year graduate student. I'm like 5+ years older than you. I have more experience than you. So by default, I am a little better, but it's not that I'm acting that way. It's not that I really have that mindset. But I would have people that didn't want to be told what to do by me. And it's not that I was being a tyrant, like in the ensemble. I think it was very difficult for some of the guys that played with me in an ensemble before. And then all of a sudden I'm in front of them directing the ensemble. Like,
that transition.
You know, they didn't, a couple of them were really unhappy about that. And it was like, this is part of my studies. This is part of my career. I need this money. I need this experience. This is my job. I have to take it seriously. And this is the first time I've been doing this. I'm a little scared. And one of the students, he anytime I would say anything to him, or if he would give a suggestion and I'd be like, no, we're not going to do that, he would look at me like this. And he would talk to me like this, you know? And I, at first I was like, is it just me? Or is he looking at me like that? Like, I'm...
like, is that the stuff? I thought it was a bike.
No, that was her stretching.
That was amazing. That was like literally the same.
My dog just did a human groan.
That was stretching. Like a Metal Gear 3, like I'm hungry groan. Like, it's insane.
She's like, I'm tired of hearing you talk.
Like,
I've heard this story.
Wrap it up.
Yeah.
That was her.
Yeah. But like, so he would like be challenging me and I wasn't sure if it was actually happening. And then one day we went to a guitar concert, a bunch of us, and we ended up going to eat afterwards and hanging out, and he was there and we had a great time, a bunch of us. And I think at that moment, because after that meal where we all hung out, he realized, oh, she doesn't think she's better than us. Oh, she hasn't changed. She's still having fun with us.
Still Ash.
Still her. And literally the next day we had ensemble rehearsal and he was like super enthusiastic and like, yeah, okay, let's do it. Like, and like smiling. And I was like, oh, thank God. Like that, I am so that's what I want. You know, I
your
need
second Doctor Who heart.
Yeah, that's what I need. You know, like I need that enthusiasm from you guys. I'm just as lost. Like this is the first time I've ever done this. I've never run an ensemble rehearsal before. I had to get all the music. I had to score study all the music. I had to assign the parts and then like practice my conducting because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It was really hard work and I had a really great time, but like some of them were just like, why don't you know what you're doing? I got the course evaluations back, and a couple of them were like, no, I don't feel like this professor was very prepared. And I'm like, I was trying. I'd never done this before.
And I know the other side, man.
But it was a lot of fun. It was so fun anyway. I mean, some other bad stuff happened. I'm not going to talk about it, but like, it's always about egos. It's always, when bad things happen, it's always about insecurity and egos. And we all go through it. We all have our moments. I'm constantly battling insecurities and my stupid ego, constantly. But it's just not letting it affect the way that you treat people and affect your professional life. And that's like the huge indicator of maturity. And just was a huge learning experience being a teaching assistant. But I had a lot of fun.
That's what's up. I mean, let me ask you these things so we can start to actually wrap it up. But did you have more to the South by Southwest composer story? Because you went into the dancing.
Yeah, I just went down there and started dancing.
So I want you to finish that, and then I have like one more.
Yeah, so I went down and danced, and people literally ran up after me and danced. And afterwards, we sat back down, and there was this group from like, God, where were they from? Freaking Iceland or something crazy like that. I'm just kidding. But like, somewhere crazy like that. Finland, I don't know, Norway. Yeah. Say all those names.
Europe.
Yeah. So
gets all of them.
They were crazy. They were like into the microphone, like playing like these instruments, screeching and like
these are the performers.
Yeah. So then that's when everyone's sitting down, and I'm like, me too. I'm sitting the fuck down. Like,
can only do so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't dance to that. So when we left, though, the band that we were dancing to was outside, like, at their merch table. And they were like, oh my God, thank you so much for going up and dancing. Thank you for doing that. Like, you got the party started. And like, it was really awkward before that. And
Party starter.
I was like, yeah, what do you expect? A composer's forum? Like, first of all, composer's forum, I thought there was going to be some real ass discussion going on. But no, I guess I missed it. But,
oh, so that was the actual... I thought it was like a workshop or something, or some talk, or...
That's what I thought. Maybe it might have been, like, maybe earlier in the night. I got there kind of late. But, they were just, like, so thankful that, somebody got up there and danced. And I'm like, damn, like, that really needs to happen more often.
Yeah, a lot of us... Same thing happens in electronic land. Like, I say it in electronic land, it needs... The more famous it is, the more chance of dancing. Because things are slowly changing, but when things are starting in their advent, more often than not, it's just dudes, and we're just knocking heads. Like that's it. We're just nodding heads, and it isn't until it reaches a certain level of mainstream that it can bring out outsiders. That then the sexes become more balanced, and then it becomes more like dancing and stuff.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
a lot of things in our infancy are just dudes standing,
Like, yeah, I mean, just in general, in the United States, there's a huge
lot of people
issue.
like to credit it to cell phone culture too, but I bet you that shit was happening before though.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So like when I went to Cuba last year,
that's right, you did.
Yeah, it was amazing. I went to an outdoor club one night, and there was a salsa band on stage, and it was really awesome. Live music, booze everywhere, people walking around with bottles, just like here. Everybody's dancing. Every single freaking person at that place was dancing, even if they were just standing there.
Spanish culture, yeah.
And so then I get back from Cuba, and UTSA Underground was going on, and the Latin jazz group, or I don't really know exactly what they are. I forgot their name. They're really great, and they were playing at UTS Underground, and they were playing salsa music, and
no one's dancing.
Everybody was just fucking standing there in this huge circle. So there's like the dance floor is there, people moved back, but nobody was dancing. Nope. Finally, like the Latin Dance Society people showed up. Oh shit. And so then there were like two groups of people dancing.
They party started for you.
Yeah. And then and like I mean, I love salsa dancing. I'm not like amazing at it, but I love doing it. So I think like this professor that runs that or like supervises that group like danced with me, and it was a lot of fun. But like nobody was dancing. And now that I've like become, I was like, oh shit, like this huge cultural difference. Now that I've become aware of it, anytime I go to shows and I look around and everybody's just standing there, I'm like, just dance. Damn it. It feels so good, you know? And like that comfort zone, you know, just.
What do you think the solution is for your world for that? Because that shit is institutionalized in your world.
So I think it really depends. It depends on what music, what instrumentation, for example. So like for the classical guitar, you can't have people talking because you can't hear it.
Yeah,
like, it's a very quiet instrument. But also it fits really nicely into this more intimate setting of a smaller audience. And so it's easier to connect with them in general, and they're okay just sitting there. But what I do is I talk to the audience, and I like get them involved in what I'm doing. You know, I give them background information on what I'm playing so that since they're not able to move physically, they're able to move mentally. You have to get them involved mentally. You can't just expect them to listen and sit there and enjoy it. Like some people, yeah, they will, but like not nowadays. It's not something that is normal to expect people to be active listeners all on their own. No way. And so it really just has to do with the way that we involve our audiences instead of just expecting them to show up and listen. That's not the culture. Our culture is not about active listening. And so yeah, I think that's the first step. It's just the way that we involve our audiences in the music. And that can be a huge range of things. It can be, let's make it a themed night, like where let's get people to dress up a certain way and show up. Like that's all automatically, that's automatically gonna make it. Like the UTSA University Band did a concert called Cosplay, and they did music from different movies, like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, and
was that well attended?
Yeah, and they had a cosplay contest, and there were like 15 contestants, and people were super into it.
I forget that dude's name, but like he comes when I'm at my end finally, and stuff like that is what was missing from there.
Yeah. And so, yeah, like I said, it's just all about the way you involve your audience. You no longer can expect people to want to just buy a ticket to go listen to fucking, I don't know, Brahms symphonies. Like, okay, a Beethoven symphony, you're gonna get people to go because it's Beethoven. And I mean, Beethoven somehow is like super orgasmic to listen to in the hall for a symphony playing a symphony. And it's just like, yeah, that's amazing enough. But like, other than that, getting people to show up, you know, it's not really gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And so that's why the whole like San Antonio Symphony thing, how they were, you know, not doing so well. It's like, because what are you guys really doing? Yeah, there's an amazing, the Tobin Center is amazing. What happened with
that recently? I do remember it. Like
they were gonna shut down the symphony.
But it didn't?
They didn't. They ended up, I don't know what they did exactly, but they ended up bringing it back. But yeah, because they weren't getting the money, the funds. They weren't selling tickets. They weren't, you know, getting memberships. They weren't whatever. It's just needs to be, there needs to be a change. And we need to make people feel more comfortable and involved in our, you know, in our world. They don't feel comfortable. They don't feel like they belong. Need to make them realize that, yes, this is also about you. It's not just about us. It's not just about the music. It's about you too. Without you, we don't have anything to do. You know? Right, Rama?
I feel like you're probably one of the better people I have on here because I think me and you are capable of talking forever.
Yeah.
Which is good. That means like maybe if you're up to it, maybe we can do other ones. But I have these life questions and then we'll wrap it up. This is some shit I've put into beta. So, because like I told you when you were asking about the podcast, it used to be all about shit like this. But now I'm like, man, I don't even know if I still want them. So now I've condensed it to things I still find interesting, but we'll see. I feel like these next couple of ones will tell me if I keep these or not. But what do you think that people think you're crazy for believing in? If I ask that right. Like, what do people call you crazy for believing in? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think people, just believing in people. Honestly, like, I mean, I've been just as disappointed and hurt by people as the next person. Maybe not. I mean, there's extreme examples, but like, I've gone through shit. You know, I've been treated like shit. I've treated people like shit. But I think that one of the things that weirdly surprises me, is when people have just completely lost faith in others, you know? And I think I just have this weird, boundless energy of like faith in other people. And it's not that I'm naive anymore. I'm definitely not as naive anymore. Maybe I'm a little bit still, but just, and also like and that has to do with also how stubborn I am. Like, I'm extremely stubborn. I mean, I if I weren't, I wouldn't be playing guitar anymore because I've gone through so many injuries and problems that like anybody else might quit. But so I think it really is just like the way that I interact with people and the way that I think of them and see them and want to, you know, help them and believe in them. It's not so easy for others, you know? And yeah.
We sort of touched on this, but this is always one of my favorite questions. Like, what's your goal in life?
My goal in life. Personal goal or no?
I mean, whatever you want it to be. It's open like that.
Really, I just want to... The most important thing to me is relationships with people. Like, my biggest goal in life is to just always have good relationships with people and to develop relationships. They are so important to me. Like, the way that, you know, you treat people and the way that you get past problems with other people. It's just so, you know, nothing is worth anything without other people. I mean, doing things alone is fun. I like to be alone a lot. You know, I live alone. It's awesome. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I can stay up until 3 a.m. like playing guitar and nobody says anything. You know, it's great. But like over the years, I've realized, especially because I've been in San Antonio without family for so long, how important and how varied relationships with people are. And just being able to develop them and I've had to let go of a lot of relationships in my life. You know, I've had friends that I've had to let go that it just sucks, but it's like, you know, just things are not matching up here, and I think it's friend breakups are the worst. You know?
Is that what they're called?
Because then, like, when it's a friend breakup, like, they don't really have to give you any closure. If you're breaking up with a boyfriend, like, I've also, you know, kind of...
Sometimes they don't give you closure, too, by the way.
Yeah,
that whole
right,
actual
exactly.
boyfriend-girlfriend
right.
thing.
But it's more expected that, like, when you're going to get out of a romantic relationship, you know, if you're mature enough, you're going to talk about it. But, like, with friend breakups, it's, ugh. Dude, I was friends with this girl for, like, 8 years. We were fucking great. Like, we had so much fun. And then just like a falling out happened because she wouldn't come visit me in San Antonio. Like, absolutely would not. And after a while, I just realized she just didn't care. You know, she just didn't care to like put the energy into our relationship, and was like so focused on like boyfriend and getting married and I don't even know.
Americana life.
Yeah, and it was just like, I tried. But
all we can do.
Yeah.
Most of my cutoffs have been, and I'm the type of person because I've dealt with people just not responding. So I always actually, no matter, even if I'm cutting them off, like I respond to everything. I also got that from like marketing training, but like that's probably where it really comes from. But most of my cutoffs are just like I stop reaching out. Like I always respond, but I'm gonna stop reaching out. Okay, and it's usually primarily because it's just negativity. Yeah. Like usually they bring in too much, and it's like, look, man, I'm from New York. I think everything sucks, but like so the type of like negativity, like if you're bringing too much negativity, like something wrong. You know, there's something wrong. Like I hate everything. Come on, like, but you can't come here with like something worse. Like, it can't be horrible stuff. And I've had that encounters with people like, all right, this is just bad. Like, you know, like this ain't healthy. You know, I do a lot of that, but I do a lot of it out of like joking more so than like fuck everything. You know, like, but
another goal of mine is to really contribute something to the guitar world.
Legacy.
And it's not that I want people to be like, oh my God, she was such an amazing player and whatever shit. No, all I care about is the creation of new music and the education of the guitar. Like just so that it is placed on the pedestal it deserves. And just like quality guitar music. I mean, guitar music is just so freaking cool, but it can also be really bad. And so I just want to work. I want to work towards the education of both just the guitar in general, but also like guitar composition. I want people to want to study with me because they want to be guitarist composers and they see what I've done and they think that I can help them and I want to be able to help them. And I just want this continuation of like quality guitar music, quality guitar education, because I've seen it change so many people's lives. It changed my life. Like I understand that so much on such a personal level that I know what it can do for other people. And I mean, the stuff that they do up in Austin with Austin Classical Guitar, with the youth detention centers, with the blind schools, with the homeless mothers, like it's amazing. That's the stuff that like shows how powerful this instrument is. It completely transforms those people's lives. And I want to be a part of that for sure.
That's what's up, man. Change people's lives through the guitar.
Yeah.
All right, this would be a very easy one for you. 3 things you're thankful for in life.
I'm super thankful for my parents, obviously. They have always been really supportive of what I do. Always. They've never told me, don't do music, go get a normal job. Of course, I come from a family of musicians, so that makes it a little better.
Okay.
But my great-grandfather was a professional, but my grandparents were not. My parents were not. My dad would play in community orchestras, and he was like always one of the best French horn players. But yeah, they've done so much for me to get to where I am. It's been nice. But, and now, I'm at a point where I'm like, I want to be independent, but I still want to make them proud. Another thing I'm really thankful for is my pets. All pets that I've had.
Tell from the post.
Yeah. But especially the ones I have now. I have my dog, which I think she popped into the camera. And I have a cat. Geeta.
Chilling.
She's asleep in a tube. Geeta.
One leg moved.
Nope. She's only yawning. She's too sleepy to get up.
For that?
The dog's like, oh yeah, I'll come over. But super smart and very, very compassionate and empathetic animals that have taught me about communication, which is kind of funny because animals can't talk.
Yeah.
But we have to realize as human beings, there's more to communication than words. There's body language, there's energy, and it all matters. Because sometimes what people are saying does not match up with how they're feeling or what they mean. And I'm not saying people are lying, but it's just, and also, like, you know, having pets is also an aspect of relationships. And when you have this being in your home that, like, no, they can't talk to you, they can't tell you how they feel, but they need to be respected too, and they need to be loved, and just, you know, always being there for me and scaring away the boogeymen. Right, Rama? You scare away all the boogeymen. Yes, you bark at the mailman every day. Oh my gosh.
Is that the boogeyman? The mailman?
Apparently.
I was like, screw USPS, I guess.
Yeah, so, but I guess you could just put that in a whole thing of, like, I'm really thankful for animals. Like, and that human beings are not the only thing we have to be interacting with.
Yeah.
So I'm just really happy that, you know, we are allowed to have these types of relationships outside of human interaction. It's just amazing. And then the third thing that I would say that I'm thankful for is the way that my mom brought me up, because I wouldn't say I'm religious, because I don't ever go to church, but I do believe in God and the Christian God, and nobody really talks about it very often, you know, but without what my mom instilled in me, which is like this, and this actually has to do with a lot of the things I've been talking about with, like, you know, believing in people and being stubborn and all that, is this ability to never fear. I'm not going to say never, though, because I do have my anxieties. I do have my fears. I do have bad times, very bad. But to not have to feel like I have to do everything on my own, and then literally to experience things in my life that show me that I'm not alone, I don't think that I would still be here without that stuff. Like, it's just too hard. Life is just so freaking hard. And the relationships with people and being hurt by people and, like, all of these things that I have had to forget about myself and stop focusing on just me and my ego and what I think is best, and come to this really, really peaceful place. And everybody has, maybe not everyone, I wish everyone had a way to get to that place, but people have their ways to get to that place, and I have my way. And so I'm really thankful to have that way, and it's worked for me, and you know, I'm just really thankful that my mom has remained so strong in that I can see her, you know, be you know, just persevere through everything that's happened, and to encourage me all the time.
I feel like just hearing a lot of the things like you said, like, it's almost like I had, like, my own journey, but in a parallel way, like, very similar to yours. The only difference was that she probably didn't encourage me on the music. But like, just a lot of it, same thing. Like, she's mega religious, and just same thing with the shyness. I was like, man, dude, it's almost like the same journey, another part of the world. Yeah,
it's so important not to forget about love. It's so stereotypical, but it's freaking true.
It's the most
love
important
and
key.
Patience.
It's the most important key.
Yeah.
Key of love, Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
Where you see yourself 3 years in the future?
3 freaking years?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I definitely want to go back to school and get my DMA. So I'm hoping to do that within the next 3 to 4 years, 5 at the most, hopefully. We'll see. Let's see here. I'm 27 now, so I'll be 30. That's pretty cool. So I see myself being 30.
So optimistic. Yeah, most people are like older.
Oh, I don't want
like, that's
I
cool.
hate being 20. It's so annoying.
Why? I don't. Wait, what?
Because I'm stupid. My brain is stupid, and nobody takes me seriously. I don't know.
So you're just like, I'll be older and wiser.
Yeah,
versus like, why am I so young and dumb?
Yeah. Well, also seeing myself develop over the past 7 years, since I was 20, even from 24 to 27, a huge difference. And so I'm like really excited
about the possibilities of what would be.
I can't wait to keep growing and becoming a better person and meeting more people. Like I'm just really excited to keep growing. So also, 30, I hope that I'm somewhere else. I love San Antonio.
But it's time.
It's about time. I mean, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen. But I love it here. I just moved downtown this year, so I'm okay milking it a little bit longer because I live in this freaking sweet spot in Dignity Hill. I can walk to the Pearl. I can walk to the River Center Mall. I can, I get the best view of the sunset in the city on Hayes Street Bridge and Dignity Park. So it's a really, really cool spot, and I love San Antonio. There's so much culture, so much great food and music, and it's growing, and I love it. But I'm so, like I said, I'm so curious that I need to explore, and I need to see more things, and it's just this curiosity that I need to have quelled, at least to a certain point. And I also hope that in 3 years, I will be performing at in bigger venues, and that I'll be winning more competitions, and that I'll have recordings done, and just in general, getting these goals done by that point. No matter how you feel about it, it's a milestone to turn 30. Being in your 20s is a crazy freaking time. Holy shit. So, I'm excited about that.
What is the perfect day?
The perfect day. Well, I think the perfect day is waking up next to someone you love, whether that is your pet, or if it's someone you're in a relationship with, or if you're camping with family. I don't know. Just waking up not alone. I like to wake up with someone to talk to and eat breakfast with. And so you have a really nice breakfast with some hot tea. And then, just having a really nice, productive day and feeling really good about that. And then exploring, whether that means I'm exploring at home through reading, or if I'm going out and exploring somewhere new in the city, or anything that has to do with that. And then near the end of the day, just spending either time alone or spending time with other people. It's just having productiveness in a day. It just feels so good. Yeah.
Let's go.
Just being productive. It makes me feel so happy. But also, if I could just hike all day, that would be a perfect day too. Just hiking in the mountains and finding a river to just sit in and eat fruit with my bare hands and get all over my face and read a book while I do it.
Bro, you trying to do this Fahrenheit 451 for real?
Get me out of here. Yeah, but I think that I feel the best when I'm productive. And then by the time it's nighttime, I can feel good about relaxing and spending time with people. Yeah. Always building. That's the most important thing. No matter what it is. You don't have to be constantly focusing on the career. Focus on your relationships, All
right. Here's the last one. I wish, I wonder. I like that I did. I wish I had done. I wonder what would have happened if. But for the last year. Just the last year of your life.
The last year? Okay, what was the first one?
I like that I did. I can feed them as you answer.
Okay. I like that in the past year, let's say from May to May.
Yeah.
I like that I finished writing my piece, and I'm really proud of it. I love it. I love playing it. It's super fun, and I'm just so proud of how far I came in my style and my ability as a writer. Oh, and I'm also really glad that I got a cat.
The duo is complete.
Yeah.
I wish I had done.
I wish I had been a little more patient, both with myself and others, and with certain relationships with people. Just been more patient, and just allowed myself to be happy And I think that can be applied to so many things. I wish I had been more patient. I wish I would just be more patient in general. As a teacher, I'm like the most patient person ever. Every other aspect of my life, extremely impatient. Yeah.
I wonder what would have happened if.
There's an answer I have for that one that I just don't even want to go there. But maybe if that person sees this, they'll know what I'm talking about. But they probably won't. I wonder what would have happened if I decided to go somewhere else for my second year of my master's, because I really did consider it. I was very just unhappy the first year. Second year was amazing. I learned a lot. I did so many things. First year, I was just kind of getting through it, and I got to go to Cuba. Like, that's the main reason I did it, and it was so amazing. And so I wonder what it would have been like if I had gone to another school for my second year of master's. I mean, I went to Chicago and like had a lesson with Dennis Ozabajic to see if I wanted to study there. And then I realized I didn't want to live in Chicago because it's cold and just so like.
It has real seasons. It has real seasons.
So big too. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, real city, man.
But I'm happy with what I did anyway.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This might be a tough one for you considering what we talked about before. Where can the people find you? Online or anywhere?
Oh God.
Do you want them to find you?
Yeah.
I know at some point you do, but are they ready?
Right. Well, okay. So we're talking about my YouTube channel right now. That's where you can get the most like visual and audio feedback of who I am. And so my channel is Velspir, VELSPIR. And so I would say that that's like, if you want to hear my music or my playing, like that's the place to go. If you want to know me as a person, it would be Facebook or Instagram. My Instagram is very personal post, just not much guitar stuff. Like there's some guitar stuff, but it's more a personal thing. And then on Facebook, I don't post very much, but I talk to a lot of people and I have a lot of friends from around the world on there.
Yeah, it's become a Rolodex for me now. That's it. Like that's the only reason I have a lot of these things. Like I'll never kill them. They're just kind of Rolodexes now.
But honestly, if you want to find me somewhere that's not on the internet, just invite me to go eat, and I'll be there.
What about the second Instagram that you're forcing to post?
Oh yeah,
or whatever?
So if you want to see like my recent short videos of me just playing random stuff, and it'll get better. I'm gonna start. Once I get more comfortable, I'll put better videos up. And my YouTube channel will become more active. But the Instagram one of my playing, which right now there's only like 8 videos, is M Star Guitar.
Okay, I'll let you close your eyes. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah. So it's short for Morning Star, which my last name, Lucero, means morning star. So it's M Star Guitar.
Okay.
And you just add me and watch my 8 videos, and I swear I'm going to put more.
Last words?
Last words is be patient with yourself, and eat good food, and just be respectful, just be respectful of people. You're not perfect. I'm not perfect. It's not always going to be that way, but the most important thing is to be respectful, especially in your very close relationships. I just see so many people in relationships that just don't respect each other, and it's just sad. And that's my biggest goal when I'm in a relationship, and I'm in a relationship now, but like, is to be respectful. I've been in relationships where they're not respecting me. I've been disrespectful before. And it never makes for a good relationship. It just goes fucking downhill bad, or like you get stuck in a hole. So don't forget.
RESPECT.
Respect. Respect.
All right. Are we done? Bake that chicken, smoke that turkey. Boosh.